Good evening. I'm back with another part of my testimony. This one was about what I like to call Wu-tang. For those of you who don't know, that's a rap group from back in the day. Date myself. Anyway, I want to tell the story about how I was in the middle of warfare, dead in the middle of it, wasn't sleeping properly, wasn't eating properly. And this particular day, I decided I was going to get up, pull myself together, and I was going to go get me something to eat. So I go to one of my favorite restaurants and I get this dish called sashuka. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, I brought my journal with me. I ate my breakfast. It was earlier in the day. And then I went and sat underneath a tree. Underneath this tree, I began to journal, talking about all these dreams that I had, right? Because that's what I found comforted me in the midst of all this spiritual warfare that I was going through, was thinking about what it was going to be like when I came out of it. And I noticed a man over yonder in a Wu-Tang t-shirt. I thought, it just brought me back because I had just went to a Wu-Tang concert, right? So it made me notice him. Anyway, he comes walking by me. I have earphones in, and he gets my attention. And then he starts talking to me. And I'm like, okay. I haven't talked to anybody, right? Because I've been isolating myself because of all this stuff that's been going on, and everything was weird, right? There was all kinds of weird stuff going on. So he sits down and we talk. And at first it was cool. It was very reciprocal. But then it just seemed like he just kept talking and talking. I don't really do that. And after a while, I just kind of feel like I went into a daze, just listening to him talk. And after a while, I felt like it had been hours that we'd been sitting underneath this tree talking. It was really weird, right? And then he's like, I want you to come over to my apartment for dinner. I don't really do that either. So I'm like, okay, I'll come over for dinner, right? Totally out of my character. Anybody that knows me knows that that's completely out of my character. So I come home, I get dressed, right? And then I go over to this gentleman's house at like 9 o'clock at night. We sit down, he's cooking dinner for me. He has a card and flowers. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is okay. Now, when I walk into his home, it's a little bit disheveled, chaotic, if you will. So this is the first thing that I notice. The second thing is that he's excessively drinking. Now, remember, I don't drink like I used to, so it's the first thing that I look at. Anyway, he starts talking incessantly. He starts talking about his ex, and it was very apparent that he was still very in love with her. He said that she was Italian and owned an escort service out in Atlanta. He said that one day he caught her in her closet performing some kind of ritual at an altar that he had no clue about. Her escort service was failing for one reason or another, and she was performing some kind of ritual. Well, he keeps talking, and he talks about how she drove him to this place in the middle, in the heart of like Atlanta, and that there were all these expensive cars out in front of this big, beautiful mansion. He said it was strange because he said it was like somewhere in the middle of the hood or something. And then all of a sudden there was this part where it was elite, if you will. He said that him and her were in the car. He was in the passenger side. He was in the passenger side, and that he seen a bunch of people come out of this house. He said that these people were high profile people, celebrities. couple of rappers. He said that as they all got into their cars, another gentleman approached. He said he couldn't tell if he was Italian or if he was Spanish. That the man had came over to the car and leaned down to the passenger side window where he was and looked at him, and then looked at his girlfriend and nodded his head. He said the man was dressed in all white and had his hands behind his back. He said that the man creeped him out, and then after a while, the guy just walked back into the house. So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to all this, and I'm like, why is this? Why am I here? Right? Because you're obviously in love with this girl. Why are you here with me? I'm not doing nothing with you. So why am I here? Well, by this time, he's pretty much intoxicated, talking about all these big plans of what he planned to do. And I say, you know what? I gotta go. So he walks me to my car. And before I leave his home, before I leave the area, he says, hey, now that we've met, they're going to come after you. I have to tell you, I text him, or he texted me a couple of times after that, and I stopped. I stopped all communication with him. And I'm not going to put you on blast. You know who you are. I have pictures. The picture that you took when we walked down by the lake of us and the moon behind us, I have that picture. So I don't have to lie. I'm telling the full and complete truth. What did you do? Ladies, if you find yourself being mesmerized in the middle of a conversation with a stranger or someone that you barely know, pay attention. I don't know what 2025 is producing out here, but things aren't quite right. I have more interactions with other people, other men, that are even stranger than that. I'll get back to you on that. For that particular person, I wish you well. I hope everything worked out. And I hope that you found what your heart truly desired. Ladies, be careful out there. There's a lot going on that you don't know about. Be mindful of what you're thinking. Be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. Spell work is real. These dumbass come to me spells, these witches and warlocks and all these people that are out here doing all of this stuff is real. I experienced it. I went through it. I'm on the other side of it now, but it took me a while to get through all of that. Anyway, just wanted to share that story with you. Another part of my testimony. Remember, you're going to witness God's glory. And I'm going to keep telling you. Sending you love and light.